Hey fellow beaders, it's JP and I've got a new tutorial for you and I'm calling this my Frosty necklace. Basically I made a pendant and strung some beads for the necklace portion. And I wanted to do something wintry, so this is my snowflake pendant here. So hopefully you like this. And so what you're going to need are basically 3 bead types. Here, I'm going to move the necklace out of the way. So I have 2 colors of superduos. This white one is white luster. The purple one is called opaque violet white luster. And it's kind of a purple gray type bead. Very pretty, very shiny. Then of course my Miyuki Galvanized Silver are the 11-0 seed beads. That's what this is. And then these are 4x3 or 3x4 rondelles. And you can also use another 3 or 4 millimeter bead. Both should work, so you don't necessarily have to use rondelles. You can use bicones or pearls or drux, whatever you've got, fire polish. And these are just transparent white is the color. So once again, 2 colors of superduos, though you don't need to use 2 colors. Here's the pendant, and then for the necklace. So this was opaque violet white luster, this is white luster, Miyuki Galvanized Silver, and transparent white. So those are the colors. I also used fireline thread to make the pendant, so this is 6-pound fireline. I used a thicker thread for the necklace. So I ended up going with 0.008 wildfire thread, but you could also use like 8-pound fireline, 8 or 10. Just you want a little bit thicker so that the necklace can withstand the weight of the pendant kind of thing. So anyway, here it is. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the pendant and then show you how to make the necklace and connect the pendant to it. So as you can see, the pendant is part of the necklace. Let's get started. Okay, so to start our pendant, what you're going to do is pick up 4 superduos and 4 11s in this alternating order. And then what you're going to do is tie a knot. So and this is what you're going to get, a nice little ring of seed beads and superduos. And then we're going to reinforce our ring by just going through all the beads again. So I'm back where I started. And I'm just going past my knot. So I'm going to run through the other hole of the superduo, but I'm also going to bring me a little bit closer. I feel like it might be too far away and you won't be able to see the details. All right. So here's what I've got, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other hole of my superduo here that I'm exiting out of. And now I'm going to pick up a superduo. So I'm using my other color B, and I'm going into the next superduo. So I'm picking up, here's the 3 beads that I'm picking up first of all. It's superduo 11 superduo, and then I'm just going to go into this next one. And this is what you're going to get, and then we're going to just repeat this 3 more times. So superduo 11 superduo, and going into that next superduo. And superduo 11 superduo, repeat, And once again, superduo, 11, superduo, and then just go ahead and go through the color A superduo and then go through the color B superduo. Okay, so this is what you're going to have at this point. And if I put it down, here's what that looks like. I'm going to actually go through all the beads again to reinforce this round. Okay, thread got wrapped around my finger here, so. So once you do this, this won't feel quite as loose, because I feel like when you do just go through it once, the beads just feel really, really loose. But now this should feel a little bit more secure for you. And now I'm going to switch to the other hole of the superduo. And I'm actually going to go ahead and trim the tail thread. Kind of get that out of the way. All right, so now for this next step, so note that there's a superduo here between the two white superduos. So I'm actually going to pick up a rondelle and go into the superduo. And then for this step, I'm actually going to do superduo 11, superduo, and you can see there's an 11 between the two superduos. All right, let me just pull that. For a second there, I thought the thread was tangled, but it was not. And now for this next part, we'll need that rondelle. So you're just going to be alternating between the rondelle and these 3 seed beads here, the superduo 11 superduo. So it's time for a rondelle. So there we go, and then again I'm going to do superduo 11, superduo, and just shifting my rondelles over a little bit so I can grab them a little more easily. So rondelle, and now a superduo 11, superduo, and rondelle, superduo 11, superduo, go through the superduo and the rondelle, so here's what we have, and then I'm going to go ahead and reinforce again. So going through all the beads in this round. Okay, so it looks like I got one more set to go through. This is my last set here. And now I'm just going to continue forward. So this time what I'm going to do is, now I'm coming out of that rondelle, I'm going to continue through to the next two superduos. Then through the 11 and the superduo. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is pick up 3 11s and switch to the other hole of the superduo. So get a little picot there. Then I'm going to pick up a rondelle and go into the superduo, just like that. And then pick up 3 11s and go through the other hole of the same superduo once again. And depending, I also went through the 11. So this is what you should get, and then we're going to repeat this. So now I'm going to make my way over to this superduo here. So just continue forward. So we're going to repeat the same steps again. So pick up 3 11s. So switch over, so see where I'm coming out of, switch over to the other hole of the same superduo. Then pick up a rondelle. Okay, rondelle's not letting me pick it up. There we go. If I can just, there. Go through the other superduo here, the next superduo over. And now pick up 3 11s and go through this other hole of the superduo and then continue forward. So if you can get through, come out of the next superduo over, then that's good. There you go. So you don't want to tug too tight. Just want to get it into position and not let it buckle or fold or anything. And then continue forward and we'll keep building. Okay, so I am now coming out of the superduo that I want. So again, you pick up 3 11s, so 3, switch here to the other hole, just like that. Then add your rondelle. If I can, let me move them over again. So there we go, got my rondelle, and I'm going to go into this other, just like that, and then 3 11s, and go into the second hole of the superduo, and if you can, go forward until you come out of the superduo after it. Okay, we're almost done. We just got one more to do. So continue forward. You're going to pick up 3 11s, go into this second hole of the superduo, then pick up a rondelle, go into the superduo, and then pick up 3 11s and go into the second hole of the superduo. And there is our beautiful snowflake pendant. It is all done. And now just tie some half-inch knots. So I'm just going to go through this next superduo and try to tie a knot between the superduo and the rondelle. So to do a half-hitch knot, remember you're basically wrapping the thread around the thread that is already between the two beads, making a loop, and then just tightening the loop. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and do another one here between these two super duos. So there's that thread bridge. I'm going underneath it. Made my loop, going through the loop and tightening, and then going forward. So I'm going to make one more. And I'm going to do it again between the white superduo and the rondelle. So, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? There's my loop. I'm going to go through the loop, and then I'm just slowly tightening. And now just go through a few beads. Basically, you're going to weave the thread away. So, I'm just going to go forward. Oh, I dropped it, or it got wrapped. There. So I'm wearing this ring, which I made in a couple tutorials ago, and the thread keeps getting wrapped. I should take the ring off, but I really, really like the ring. So, vanity. Okay. So, go ahead and we should be good. So I'm going to trim our thread. And so, all right. So the next portion I will show you how to do the necklace. Alright, so to start the necklace, what you are going to do is put a stop bead at the end of your thread, just like this. Then go ahead and pick up a rondelle and 8 11s. So I want to make sure, yep, there's 8. And bring everything down to the end of your thread, just like this. And I'm going to bring this a little bit closer. And then what you want to do is go through just the first 2 11s, just like this. So note coming out here at the top, and we're going to go through the 11s. And this is what you should get. Okay, so now pick up an 11 and go through the next 2 11s. And then you're going to repeat. Pick up an 11, go through the next 2. And pick up an 11, whoops, just 1, and then go through the next 2. Alright, so here's what you get. There's our diamond. So it looks a little lopsided. That's okay. It'll fix itself in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce first before I do anything else. I'm going to go back through all the beads. And then continue. Okay, so I've got 2 more to go through. I'm going to go through these last 2 11s, just like there. And now what I'm going to do is go through the rondelle. Now my plan is to build a 14-inch necklace, and at this point you could take out your stop bead go ahead and tie a knot between the two threads, although we've gone around this, so it should be already very secure because we've done the loop here. But I did want to tie a knot. And now what you're going to do is build the pattern. Now, as I said, I want to do a 14-inch necklace, and so I've got about 18 inches of thread is what I started with. Basically you want to start with the thread length that you want your necklace to be. So if you want something like 20, I would say start with maybe 24 inches of thread, so forth. So now the pattern that I'm going to do is going to pick up an 11 and a rondelle and bring those down to the end of my thread, and let's see if I can also get the tail thread in. If not, you want to make the tail, you can just put a needle on your tail thread and just weave it through. But if it saves me a little bit of time, this goes a little bit easier. That way when I trim, I'm away from the knot. So there you go. Now both threads are in, and then the next part of the pattern is to pick up 5 11s. And like I said, you don't have to follow my pattern. You can do whatever you want. Change up the pattern however you see. So I'm just going to line those two up together and bring them down. So that should be enough that I can trim this thread now and not worry about being too close to the knot. Alright, so now just continue the pattern. So the pattern is now going to be rondelle, 11 rondelle, followed by 5 11s. And there it is. So, and since I'm doing a 14-inch necklace, I'm going to do 7 inches, and then I will come back and show you the next step. So that's about the midpoint of where you want to be. So go ahead and stop at the midpoint and then watch this next step. Alright, so I've got my 7 inches, so I'm about at the midpoint of what I want my necklace to be, and basically if you want to do the same thing I did, I have 12 sets, so if you consider this one set, then I've got 12 of those, and I want to end with my 5 seed beads. So because you want to take your pendant and pick one of the rondelle sides, it doesn't matter which one, they're all the same, and just go through it and add it here to the end. Just like so, and then go ahead and pick up 5 11s. And then our rondelle, 11 rondelle. And then you just keep building. Basically you just want to mirror the other side. So this is what you should get, and then keep building your pattern. And of course you can alter the pattern however you like, so you do not have to follow this pattern, of course. So, but I like it, so I'm going to stick with it. Okay, so that's it, and then I'm going to show you how to finish up. Alright, so I have added and mirrored my second side, so here's what I've got so far. So for this next part, what we're going to do is I've picked up 8, so here's the end. Basically I'm ending just the way I started with the rondelles, and then pick up 8 11s and bring them to the end of the thread, and then make sure there's no slack, and then what you're going to do is go through two of the 11s in this group of 8. Oh, and make sure the thread doesn't wrap. And this is what you should have, sort of lopsided looking little circle here. And what you're going to do again, just like before, is pick up an 11 and go through the next 2 11s. Then pick up an 11 and go through the next 2 11s. Sorry, I'm like covering up with my hand, so I will be more careful. And then pick up an 11 and go through the next two 11s. And so this is what you have, and then you're just going to reinforce, and that'll help the beads sit a little nicer. So I'm just going to go through the beads about 3 at a time, 2 or 3 at a time. Okay, and then the last two. So here we go, I've reinforced and I made my little diamond, and then just go back through the rondelle. And then just go down some beads. And as you can see now, this sits perfectly on the rondelle and you're good to go. And you can reinforce more if you want. I think you should be fairly safe. And now what I'm going to do is tie a 1/2 inch knot here between the 11s and the rondelles. And all you're going to do is create a loop between the beads. And make sure it doesn't pop off. So these are some of the mistakes that can happen. So I am showing you the mistakes I make as I bead. And as you can see, I've got my loop, I'm tightening it, and then I'm just going to take it into the rondelles and then make one in the next set. So, and then go ahead and tie another 1/2 inch knot. So again, you're wrapping the thread around. The thread that is between the two beads. Then go through the loop that you're making, so don't tighten the loop until you go through it. And then just make sure the thread stays. And then continue. So, and as usual, if you've seen my tutorials, I do about 3 of these. And then again. And into, so just weave the thread away a little bit. And trim. Okay, well, our necklace is done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit the like button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't done so. So all I ended up doing was adding a jump ring to my diamond on this side and then adding the lobster claw on the other side. So, and of course you can add any kind of clasp loop that you like, but anyway, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.